Watch this video. Most underrated engine boss, Cleveland. What if I told you that one of Ford's most powerful engines, from the S, has been living in the shadows all these years, produced from an engine with raw performance mystery, and a legacy that S often overlooked. This engine was way ahead of its time. Ford, led by Leok Koka and Carroll Shelby, sought a Mustang that could dominate both the streets and the track, outmatching rivals like Chevrolet's Camaro AT and Pontiac's GTO. The boss was their answer, crafted to dominate both the streets and the track. What if Ford had given the boss the attention it truly deserved? In the late S, the American automotive landscape was dominated by the muscle car wars. Automakers vied for supremacy, creating ever more powerful engines to capture the hearts of speed-hungry enthusiasts. Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler battled fiercely on the streets, drag strips, and NASCAR ovals, while Ford had success with its big block FA engines and smaller Windsor verses. It lacked an intermediate solution to fill the performance gap between these two families. The introduction of the Windsor in helped bridge this gap, but it was based on Ford SX's existing small block architecture, which limited its potential. Meanwhile, Chevrolet and Chrysler S were proving highly effective, leaving Ford needing a new contender. Thus, the Cleveland engine plant in Ohio became the birthplace of Ford's next great engine, the engineered by Ford Performance. The Boss Mustang was a formidable force, powered by the cubic and L Cleveland engine. This all-new engine was designed as a high-revving powerhouse, producing horsepower and lb-ft of torque. It featured advanced components like open-chamber combustion chambers, a high-flow intake manifold, and a 4-barrel Autolite carburetor, pushing the limits of naturally aspirated performance. The Cleveland block's iron cast allowed for higher compression ratios and higher RPMs, making it highly sought after by racers and performance enthusiasts. Power was channeled through a top-loader 4-speed manual transmission, known for its smooth, precise shifting, while rear axle gears delivered aggressive acceleration. Key features and innovations borrowing technology from the Boss. The Cleveland introduced caned, angled valves, enhancing airflow through the combustion chamber. This design allowed for massive intake and exhaust ports, making the Cleveland a high RPM powerhouse. The engine block was cast with high nickel content, providing superior durability and resistance to where quality is essential for racing applications. By raising the camshaft position, engineers made room for a shorter, stiffer push rod, which improved valve train stability at high RPMs. These features enhanced block rigidity, reducing the risk of distortion under high loads, and making the Cleveland highly durable. With a bore of in and a stroke of min, the Cleveland delivered quick revs and excellent power across a broad RPM range. The Cleveland came in two primary configurations: the V2 barrel carburetor for economy and reliability, and the V4 barrel carburetor for performance. Each was tailored to a specific market segment. Engine codes and special variants. The show code represented the V2 barrel carburetor variant. With modest compression ratios and smaller intake ports, it was designed for everyday driving. It produced between and gross horsepower depending on the year, and was popular in mid-level vehicles like the Ford Torino and Mercury Monteo Mach-E. To the Mach-E was the standard V Cleveland, featuring larger intake ports, a 4.4 barrel carburetor, and higher compression rated at horsepower. In its prime, it was a solid performer in vehicles like the Mustang Mach-R code. The R-code Cleveland, known as the Boss, represented the engine's peak performance. Exclusive to the Mustang Boss, it boasted an impression ratio, a high-lift, solid lifter camshaft, and a 4-barrel Autolite carburetor rated at horsepower. The Boss was a track-ready beast with incredible high RPM capabilities. Q-code to the Q-code Cleveland, also known as the Cobra Jet, was introduced as emissions regulations tightened, while lower compression ratios reduced output. The Cobra Jet retained performance-focused features like a nodular iron crankshaft and revised heads. It produced up to net horsepower and was a favorite among enthusiasts seeking a street-legal powerhouse. NASCAR success during the early S teams like the Wood Brothers Racing used Cleveland-powered Fords to secure multiple victories, including David Pearson's legendary win at the Daytona drag racing. Dominance in NH Pro stock drivers like Bob Glidden capitalized on the Cleveland S tunability. Glidden's dominance during the mids with multiple championships highlighted the engine's adaptability to quarter-mile competition modifications like lightweight valve Trim components and high port heads helped extract even more performance. Transom and road racing, it also saw success in am racing, particularly in the Mustang Boss. Its durability and high revving nature made it ideal for the demanding conditions of road racing, wherein endurance and precision were paramount. BST glory, Australian racers used the to great effect in the Bathurst, one of the world's most grueling endurance races. The Bathurst, held annually at Mount Panorama in New South Wales. Australia has seen legendary muscle cars like the Ford Mustang compete in the late S and early S. Australian drivers raced Mustangs powered by the Cleveland engine, including icons like Alan Moffat, Kevin Bartlett, and Jim Richards. Moffat, associated with the Mustang and engine, notably won the BA in a Ford Falcon GTH. While the Boss Mustang didn't race at Bathurst, its performance legacy alongside Ford's other VA Howard entries played a key role in shaping the event history and muscle car culture. What happened behind the scenes at Ford when the decision was made to limit production of such an incredible machine? The tragedy of the Mustang lies not in its design but in its fate. Despite rave reviews and impressive performance, Ford's decision to limit production severely hindered its success. Only units were produced, a stark contrast to other high-performance Mustangs like the Boss and Mach. Several factors contributed to the low production numbers: the tightening economy, growing emissions regulations, and rising insurance costs for performance cars all played a role. Additionally, Ford was shifting its focus toward more mainstream models, making high-performance variant less profitable as a result. The Boss was officially discontinued, and its rarity combined with the rising costs of owning a muscle car led to it becoming a highly sought-after collector's item over time. The Boss gained legendary status, but its brief production run ensured it would remain a rare and coveted gem in automotive history. Why was the Boss's production cut so short? Was it a failure, or was it just a victim of timing? RPO variants in Australia. 2. After US production ceased and the Cleveland lived on in Australia, it powered legendary models like the Ford Falcon XB and XC, including the Mad Max-inspired Falcon GT. Australian engineers further refined the design, creating variants like the Phase Full GTH, which became icons of Australian motorsport today. There remains a prized engine among enthusiasts and collectors, whether in a restored classic Mustang or a custom-built hot rod. Common modifications and upgrades: ease ported heads, aftermarket valvetrain components, modern camshafts, and electronic ignition enhance the Ford Cleveland S-era flow power and reliability. Stroker kits and cleaver hybrids combining Cleveland heads with Windsor blocks boost performance further. These upgrades solidify the Cleveland's legacy, proving that precision, not size, defines true performance and innovation. The Ford Cleveland is more than just an engine. It's a symbol of innovation and resilience. From its revolutionary caned valve heads to its dominance in NASCAR and drag racing, the Cleveland proved that size is on everything. Though its production life was brief, its impact was profound. The Cleveland bridged the gap between big block, small block engines, offering an ideal balance of power, efficiency, and durability. Its continued use in Australia muscle cars and its enduring appeal among enthusiasts. Why did it never get the spotlight it deserved? And today, plus years later, why do we still obsess over the Boss Cleveland? Is it truly the